Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Path of Exile. So, last episode we found Bitterdream and I recorded a brief theory crafting episode that highlighted a couple of different trade-offs I made, but in the end I managed to settle on putting a Vortex in with increased AoE and critical strikes in order to enhance the critting and, more important, the freezing potential of Vortex. And Frostbolt is still our damage dealing beast of burden, so to say. So, this episode we're gonna kill King Kaom and the Resso.
I dreamed of my ancestors
and take him out.
Or carves into bone, a tale that undoes the world and teaches those who come after.
And I still had a prophecy for reading a random bit of lore. So now I'm drowning in Scrolls of Wisdom. Yay for me, I suppose. Also, someone killed my golem. You buggers, stop doing that. Golems are not for killing. So, as usual, once we head for Kaom, we have to pay a visit to Triskeriaki, which is gonna be, well, a good amount of fun. See if we can freeze him to him or his appendages, or appendages. Oh, frozen appendages don't shoot at you. That's something that I think should hold up as being fairly self-evident. We'll see if in practice it also turns out that way. Okay, you. Stop breathing. Thank you. So in order to switch weapons I had to give up some raw DPS for some utility, but once my frenzy charges are maxed, basically Frostbolt deals as much damage as before. Once the frenzy charges aren't up, my raw damage is lower, but no, the chance to freeze is higher, so there's a trade-off. I mean, if monsters are walking about, then every once in a while you will of course miss because they are not quite standing where you were aiming at them. That's important to remember as well, that controlled mobs are gonna get hit, and if they get hit, that increases your damage. Which is why, you know, just looking at raw tooltip DPS only tells part of the story, paints an incomplete picture, if you will. Because in the end, it's important, basically, whether to decide if you are safe, and the more safe you are in general, the better it is, because then you'll usually live longer, and kill more mobs, get more loot, enjoy the build more, all that good stuff. And besides safety, you have the all-important clearing speed, which personally I don't attach as much value to as people who are more into the meta, so to say. I like to play builds that are well, fun and safe, and efficiency is well, more of a third concern after the other ones have been met. That's why, you know, in the theory crafting episode I did run around for a little while with Frostbite in Blasphemy. But that's the same as running Abyssal Cry on a Chaos Shadow. It teaches you play patterns, or it doesn't teach you, it rewards you for play patterns that are unsafe and will eventually end up killing you. So it's best to remove the incentive. And also, why are you so tough? Life regen plus resistance. Let's summon some minions. But I find that in order to stay safe, the best thing you can do is to, well, just not get into trouble and don't reward yourself for doing stupid things. If there is no reward for doing stupid things, then usually you have a lot less incentive to do stupid things, and as a result, chances are you're well, chances are lower that you're going to die. So that's why a build like this, no, it's a ranged caster. You want to stay at range, you don't want to reward yourself for getting into melee distance. So that's why my Blasphemy Aura is enfeeble. It weakens the opponent that happens to get near to me. And as a result, I'll take less damage. So if they get close to me, it is less dangerous. And I give myself some time to get out. No, if you pick an offensive aura, you are rewarded for seeking out the enemies to maximize its utility. But with the enfeeble, there is no reward for maximizing how often enemies are enfeebled. There's no point in doing that. It's better to just not get hit and just not get close to them. And it's best if basically no monsters ever actually get touched by enfeeble, because that means you are always keeping a very safe distance. And of course there's range characters, there's archers, there's casters and things like that. But majority of the mobs have a habit of searching you out in melee, so most of the time it's going to be pretty good. And as you see, now even though I don't really have a very strong incentive to go into melee range, the fact that I can trigger Vortex easily by teleporting on top of things means I do it. Which, well, it's a pattern that is, well, it's not 100% wise. You can get away with it with trash mobs, but yeah, if there's suddenly a couple of blues or a yellow in between the trash mobs, then you might get hit quite a bit. So it's safer to just shoot some Frostbolts and use that to launch your Vortex. That one bit the dust pretty quickly. So Rakangos are they have interesting play patterns because they don't pop up unless you actually get close. Therefore forcing you to expose yourself rather than staying at a distance. It's a very good anti-range build, mob thing, something. Hey, stop, trying to portal me. Hey. And no against single individuals, just loose Frostbolts are gonna be enough. No, 1 or 2 hits and most mobs bite the dust. If there's larger packs, then a Frostbolt or then a Vortex is gonna help out. And the combination of just the instant hit plus the damage over time makes it so that you can kill most things. Let's kill this Rakango here. And that Fury Hound. And then we go down for Triskeriaki, because he should be down there. So, this is gonna be fun. Oh, there's blues. Okay. Clearing most of the mobs out, just so we can focus on Triskeriaki. Okay. Hello there. Let's see if we can get one of these tails down. I'm actually curious to see how this goes. Did we already kill the tails? That's interesting. But we are freezing Triskeriaki. Oh wow! I'm avoiding most of the hits. Wasn't that efficient? 40% evade chance, 5% dodge, 29 block. But I will have to double check this on the video later. But I think I might just have affected him with enfeeble because it's a very small area, so you are likely to affect it. And of course, then if he's enfeebled, well, less accuracy, less damage means. You're gonna feel a lot less of Triskeriaki's sting. I was not expecting to take that little damage. I mean, if you noticed at the beginning of the fight, I did walk in, but I teleported out basically after I got hit once or twice. Just because I wanted to get a feel for the damage and then just safely retreat and take it from a distance. But again, I did want to gauge what the damage was like. That's yeah, it's a decent way of judging just how strong you are, how defensive you are. Sometimes, no, if you are massively estimating how tanky you are compared to the damage output of monsters, then it could be that just that act of trying to do a controlled test of your tank against their damage might already mean that you lose your character because you just die. And that case you learn that you are massively under or overestimating something, and it's going to be a painful lesson, but it's going to be a lesson nonetheless. So in that case, you know, like, yeah, you know, maybe I should have more life. But in this case, the layers of defenses I have actually worked out pretty well in my favor. So that's good. Because Triskeriaki is, well, one of the scary monsters in the game. Especially last time I went through here with a Shadow, Triskeriaki hurt. I actually lost one of my rebuild characters to Triskeriaki. Because I just wasn't tanky enough. And that was a similar build. There was also a evasion and energy shield character, but slightly less tanky, slightly less layers, less control because it was chaos rather than frost, so there's no freezing. Let's see, this is Fizz Reflect, so I don't care. Happy that the Triskeriaki trial was survived. See, there's another one over there. And he's also pretty fond of getting frozen. Grave Smash. Also, just dogs nipping at my heels. Stop doing that. Oof. Boom. Bye bye. A lot of damage. But again, I'm very, very pleased with just how good this build is at regenerating its life, its energy shield, and just sustaining itself. And keep in mind that most battles I don't touch my Sorrow of the Divine to regenerate the energy shield in combat. I basically only do that in quote-unquote scary situations. It's when I drink from my life flask, usually afterwards I also pop the Sorrow to get a double regen going. Then all my regen goes to the energy shield, while at the same time the flask takes care of my life. It's no layered regeneration, it works. I think passively I get about 109 life regen. Sorrow will turn it into 190 energy shield regen instead of life. So you actually gain a sustainability bonus by drinking that flask, which is really, really nice. Okay, waypoint, next up, King Kaom. All aboard the train. It's not quite a hype train, it's more like a murder train. Regicide train. Yes, this is the Regicide train. Okay, what's in the box? What's in the box? It detonates corpses and stuff, has 2% quality. Yay. Oh well, better than nothing, I suppose. Gee. So, someone has a bit of a fiery temper there. Yeah. Well, again, as I said, it's substantial extra fist. That was probably part of the trick here. But this build is very tanky. And no energy shield down. I still have my life breath left. You port out, things are good. Keeping your flame dash with a faster cast is pretty darn useful though, because it allows you to respond faster. You and you. Hey, let's see. Ghost. Frozen ghost. Oh.
Just
Ghost.
need a moment to catch my breath.
I think ghosts are one of the most annoying monster types because a lot of builds are really poor at dealing with them. Because in AoE builds have difficulty, damage over time builds have difficulty, slow moving projectiles like mine, that makes it a difficulty. It's I think if you have an archer with fast arrows, you're probably gonna be able to kill it, a ghost most of the time. I think most single target melees also have an issue if the ghost is running away, because you never really can't get a hold on it. But something like a Reaver or a Lacerator might have a better chance of dealing with ghosts. Okay. You guys die, please. Hey, and then looking for exits. Usually I ported down here, but I think you usually have to be upstairs somewhere. So for now we'll retreat back, see what it is. Or is this just a dead end? I say. Is there more over here? No, dead end. Looks like we have to go down anyway, and then maybe port up on the other side. It's a bit of an odd layout. That's something I am certain of. Hello there, Congo. How are you today? Okay. Slowly running out of places where I can go. Ah, it curves around. Definitely an odd level layout. And again, the devs have been getting more creative, or the level generator has been getting more creative with every patch. So. Maybe this is just part of the creativity. Which is good, but it does make it harder to predict how levels are going to be. And areas like this, that at some point you're like, yeah, okay, are we there yet? It's nice if you can predict them and then thereby basically just shorten how long you have to spend here. In that case, I do support the faction of players that are in favor of taking one of the levels of this dream out. Basically, having just the first area with Triskeriaki as like a final boss, and then just getting Kaom. So now here you're spending about 3 different areas going through the same enemies, and it's all very dreary. It's like this brownish, reddish, greyish rock everywhere. There's fire everywhere. Just it's a lifeless, colorless, unhappy place. But it doesn't have the. No, it's yeah. Well, it is a volcano, of course. That's why it's the entire color palette and why you got the lava down there. But yeah, it's not an inspiring location. Whereas, of course, my favorite. The Restless Arena. It's way more inspiring because it's so varied. Anyway, I'm gonna stop yammering. Let's kill the king.
The Black Spirit walks amongst us.
Okay, you.
Bat and fire!
Yeah. Frostbomb. explosions there. He is definitely on the tough side, but on the other hand, so are we.
Just need a moment to catch my breath.
Resummon the Golem because he was taking some punishment. Putting you in the middle of the vortex, that's good. We'll just keep going. Once he starts with the skulls, I'll summon my army as well. Whoop. Getting a little too close to him. For Tugohama. Right, that's vortexes, then we do the summons and more vortexes, and then we just okay, this guy actually does not do a lot of damage. Let's finish him. Okay, I probably should have kept my mouth shut about this guy does not do a lot of damage bit. Because my health did go down to about here. But that's the thing, right? If you're not hitting and running, then you don't give your energy shield a time to replenish. And it's only when I got in his face when I popped the flask after things went down. So things were still under control, but probably you want to avoid situations like that and just try to keep your patience. So, welcome back to town with lag. But on the other hand, this was a pretty darn long run. Given that it normally takes 10 to 15 minutes, this was a more extensive run. Anything interesting or just random meh? No, this is just not really what I'm looking for right now. So, we get more penalty. So, usually I make this a 1-2 episode, go after both the kings, but in this case I think we'll just keep it confined to King Kaom. In the next episode we're gonna do the Resso, and then we'll do some extra bonus content from Act 3, like going after the trial in the Hedge Maze and finishing up the Plague Maw quest chain, which is also in that area. And depending on how long that takes, we might pick up a couple more prophecies before we dive into the labyrinth. But for now, I'm gonna thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.